You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.
Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks. MLB update. I'm not happy with the sound I'm hearing from my speakers or my mic, so let me know. It's a little tinny. Gotta figure it out. We've had trouble with the starts of the show recently, right and left, it seems. Facebook has problems. StreamYard has problems. Then I guess I have problems from time to time. I certainly don't like it, but, I think we're okay. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? Major League Baseball. We're into August, guys. Well, into a week into August now. The dog days of, kill this music. The dog days of summer. Been hot and humid here, man. Not as bad as it was a few weeks ago, but it's been hot and humid. And you know what? Some of these teams are playing hot. Some are not playing well at all. Blue Jays are doing really well for what do they got? A 4-game lead now on the Red Sox. I think 6.5 on the Yankees. Brewers 9-1 in their last 10 again, pulling away from the Cubs 4.5. The Red Sox are 8-2 themselves. Indians 7-3, pulled within 6 of the Tigers. Who else is not hot? Yankees aren't hot. Mets aren't hot. They're holding on to the third wild card spots now. Neither one of these teams is guaranteed of making the playoffs. I can tell you right now. It's not. This is a scary situation. Yankees are one of the worst fundamental teams. I've been saying this forever, and it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. Worst fundamentally sound baseball I have ever watched these last couple of months. I think in their last 50 games, they're like 20-30. Would that wear that up right? Yeah, something like that. That's not a significant stretch of baseball for you Yankee fans to say we're in trouble. Anyway, Mets aren't in much better shape. Texas, again, Alan, where are you, my friend? Alan Peralez, I told you, this team up, down. They just had a great long winning streak or, extended period of success, and now they're going to have an extended period of success and failure. I don't know if there's a good team in the American League, quite frankly. The Blue Jays are the closest thing to it. The Tigers have struggled recently. Maybe they'll get it right. But the National League is a lot deeper with good teams. And we'll talk all about all of this stuff as we go here. Sorry, Brian, I see you there. How are you, my friend? Brian, are the Blue Jays better than the Tigers? I love the Tigers. You know I love the Tigers. I've told you. They can't seem to get it together, though, man. Good afternoon, Drew. Good to have you with us. Never need to apologize. Life happens. Tigers limping, right? Man. Hello, JB. How are you, my friend? One move the Tigers liked a lot. The Tigers made I liked a lot. I told you last week, and JB, I don't know if you were here, trading Charlie Morton to the Tigers. Charlie Morton, playoff proven. Didn't have a good start to the season, but had a great last couple of months, really. And he's playoff proven. I love this guy. By the way, speaking of disappointments, the freaking Rockies are now only on a pace to lose 120 games, despite the fact that they're 3-7 in their last 10. I'm confident they can get back on the track of chasing that losses record. Think the trade prices for relievers, particularly the rental ones, are way over the top. Mets way overpaid for theirs. Well, everybody does. That's the price of doing business today. Relievers, and Drew, we talked about this a lot last week. And John Gonzalez likely to join us today. The Yankees and Mets, we talked about Mason Miller a lot. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was certain the Yankees were in talks for Mason Miller, and they were. And so were the Mets. But the Yankees weren't getting it without Lombard. And they refused to talk about him or Spencer. And they shouldn't. This team is not all-in worthy. I like what the Yankees did. These relievers will be fine. Bird's gone to the minors, I know. Bednar pitched really well, except for his first time out. Forget about that first night where everybody exploded and did terribly. I think the Yankees at the deadline did what they needed to do. They got better at third base. They moved the bullpen around. Although Weaver cannot be pitching a sixth inning. He's your best reliever, guys. Come on, Aaron. Can you wake up for 2 seconds and realize what you have? Aaron Weaver shouldn't be the sixth inning guy. You've probably got a closer by committee thing going now because Williams sucks. The Mets almost get no hit the other day. What are they, 2-8 in their last 10? Both these teams in the wild card spot. Neither one of them are guaranteed. I would say the Yankees have a better shot right now. And Soto, all you need to know about Juan Soto is watch him break up a no-hitter down 4-1. Look at the scoreboard, dumbass. You and your cheeky smile. I never liked this guy. Guy broke up a no-hitter. Woohoo! Your team is slumping. You're losing this game. And if you hit a game-winning home run, fine. And you broke up a no-hitter because you walked the bases loaded or something. I find him classless. I'm sorry. And he doesn't help you anywhere. He allowed another run to score from his defensive position. Both these teams have problems. On Mets, I will say, for the most part, are more fundamentally sound than the Yankees. The Yankees, I say it year after year, and I'm so sick and tired of watching guys who can't run the bases, guys who don't know how many outs there are. We throw to the wrong base. Boom, gets on the first base coach. How about getting on the runner? Jazz last week, get on the runner. I don't want to fire Boone during the season because that doesn't work, but he has to go. If this team misses the playoffs, Boone has to go. I don't care. Jack and I talk about it a lot. And he says they're in the World Series. You'd fire him? Yes, I would fire him. What else going on around baseball? We don't just talk about the Yankees and Mets. We can talk anything you want. We'll go through the standings a little bit, look at the wild card situations, because now every game matters. I'm tired of telling people. Or people telling me, well, it's only one game. It's baseball, not football. Guys, there's less than 50 games left, no? I'm trying hard not to lose have to restart my computer here. 5 minutes before the show, the guy wants to swap out our meter for a smart meter. He says, I got to shut off the power can I, is that okay? I'm like, dude, you got 1 minute. Anyway. 116, 46 games left? Every game matters. Let's see what we got here. Scott Kobe's with us. Sorry for Yanks on your huge series for the Sox in San Diego. Yankees and Mets, the big series for both these teams. We got the Astros coming to the stadium. The Mets are going to Milwaukee. This just can't continue this way. Now my computer wants to restart. It's been a kind of day. Got a lot going on. Got some new chairs, new swivel chairs. We love these little swivel chairs in our room, our great room, but they've gotten a little beat up. And we bought new ones, almost exactly the same. Beautiful chairs. That's my morning place to sit for coffee and whatnot. And then we got to pack up a U-Haul van and go to Connecticut in the morning with the chairs and a bunch of other stuff for my stepson that's been here since we moved here. And some of his stuff from before he moved from North Carolina. So trip to Connecticut tomorrow. But a big series for the Yankees, big series for the Mets. Don't do this. Don't buy. I know, right? I don't want to buy into the Blue Jays. But I got to buy into somebody, Scott. Am I going to buy into your Red Sox? I can't do that. I want to buy into Brian's Tigers. They're getting it together, but lost 2 in a row again, but 6-4 their last 10. At least they've straightened it out a little bit. The Astros, again, I'm always an Astros fan. Not a fan. I shouldn't say that. An Astros, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a fan. Respect. I respect the Astros. Always respect the Astros. The Mariners are playing good baseball, though. Those pitchers are starting to get healthy. I know Naylor's hurt now. The offense is playing better. I still think they win this division. They're only a game and a half back now. Yankees 6.5 out. I want to buy into somebody in the American League. I mean, if you're a National League fan, you can buy into the Phillies. You can buy into the Brewers. Again, another team, though, that can't win a playoff series. I'm not sure they won a playoff series since 1982. Am I wrong? Maybe somewhere they had a good run here where they were making the playoffs and having great records in the regular season. But I don't remember them winning a series. I could be wrong. If you're a Cubs fan, you can buy into the Cubs. Dodgers, obviously, you can buy into. The Padres playing great baseball. I can't buy into my own team right now. Ryan McMahon has been a great pickup, by the way. He's not going to hit 300. He may not even hit 250, but this guy's had some big hits already. He plays steady third base, and I think it's helped Volpe a lot with Ryan McMahon at third base and being so steady over there and covering a lot of ground. So I like that pickup. I think the relievers will be fine. Even Bird will be back probably to help. But again, Weaver can't be your 6-inning guy. He's your best reliever. I think we can agree now that the Baltimore season is over. JP, I wanted to see your team get in there. You're 11 under. Let's see, what's the wild card standings look like? I mean, you still got one. You're 9 back in a wild card. It's going to be very tough. Just listen, 9 back's not undoable. But you got so many teams to pass. It's not going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams within 6 games. 7, if I want to count the Twins, who are 6.5 back. That's 9. Sorry. You don't count backwards. You count forwards. It's going to be quite a race for them, for those wild cards in both leagues, really. How about the Cardinals, who are not playing great baseball? They've fallen to 500. They had a really good, May and June for sure. And then they started to fade in July. Molina now going to be a coach. Interestingly enough, brought in to be a coach. If I'm Carlos Marmol, I'm a little concerned that this is happening. I might start reading the tea leaves here. The Jays are playing really good baseball. You know what it is, Brian? They do. You know what I like about the Blue Jays after watching them play the Yankees 6 times the last month or so? And I talked about it on this show and on other shows. They put the ball in play. You know, when they're playing the Yankees and the Yankees are striking out 10 or 12 times a game and they're striking out 4 or 6, you don't think those extra 6 to 8 outs makes a huge, give up outs makes a huge difference? You put pressure. They put pressure on the defense. And in the Yankees case, the defense faltered. Volpe, I just want to make the plays. I don't care what he hits. I don't care if he hits another home run all year. I just want him to make the routine plays at shortstop. That's all I want. Dominguez, every time I think he's turning a corner in left field, what was he doing on Wednesday night? Oh my God. That every major leaguer but him makes that play. I'm sorry. Every decent outfielder ever to play baseball makes that play. I don't need a lot. Toronto doesn't make those mistakes. And Scott, no. I've seen the Blue Jays do this before. And again, I'm not a fan. I don't root for anybody but my team. But I have to talk about who I like to win games and win in the playoffs once they're there. The Blue Jays have never done it. The Brewers don't ever seem to do it. But these are the two teams that I'd like to see do something in the playoffs. The Blue Jays, I feel like right now are the best team in the American League. Make that argument. They got the best record. Well, they don't have the best record. Brewers got the best record in baseball. The Blue Jays are second. Hello, Rick Sherlock. How are you, my friend? Good to have you with us. Sorry, we had a pre-recorded Jack and Keith's weekend playbook this morning. Jack had some business to take care of. And while I'm on it, Jack had some business to take care of, and so we recorded it last night. We'll be live as normal Monday and Friday. I'll be solo because Jackie is going to be away with family for the next week. And I also want to thank everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All my groups, you see them scrolling at the bottom of the screen all the time. John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities. Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime, the Love for Baseball. Flo and the gang at Bottom Line Sports. Let's Talk Sports. Tanner D and the gang. Golf Bud, Sports of All Sorts. And, of course, Ralph Williams, our RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff, including the Sports Corner that he does with Smoking Jim Frazier every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. After 50 years as an Oriole fan, I'm intending to declare fan free agency at the end of this season. I'm considering offers from all fan bases except the Yankees. First of all, JB, don't do that. Listen, as a Yankee fan, it hasn't always been roses for me. As I was growing up as a kid, they stunk. They were terrible. Till the late 70s. We went through some horrible times in the late 80s, early 90s. Hell, this team has been to as many World Series in the last 20 years as the Royals and won as many. How's that okay? Don't give up on your team because they aren't doing well. I get down on my team. I'm very hard on my teams. Danny Fuller, I think he does it in jest because I know he's hard on his teams as well. I'm hard on my teams. You will never see me come here with rose-colored glasses and like Aaron Boone and say, don't worry. The sky's not falling. Everything's perfect. That's just some raindrops, man. It's not going to thunder and lightning. There's problems here. I didn't even got into the pitching staff. Oh, right. I changed the font in the bubble on the comments. You guys like that better or not? I thought the longer ones would show up better this way. There goes the Bob Boone interview. Bob Boone, Brett Boone, Gus. What was Bob Boone's dad's name? No, Gus Bell was Buddy Bell's father. Ray Boone. I know he's dead, but I can't even have a seance with Ray Boone. Then Brett's kid's going to become a star. Nobody's going to talk to me. All because of Aaron Boone. I don't think it's my fault. It's Aaron's fault. Red Sox and Padres are 8-2, but no one is hotter than the Brewers with a 6-game streak. They got to win a playoff game, though, at some point. And I know these are all different teams, right? But it just seems to be a franchise thing. Am I missing a playoff series that they've won since 1982? I could look it up, but I really don't feel like it, quite frankly. Mariners and Guardians. Listen, the Mariners, I wouldn't say are suddenly relevant. Mariners have had a bad streak, but they led this division early in the season for quite some time before injuries really caught up to their pitching staff and their offense. They had a great deadline. They're not in the strongest of divisions. The Astros have their problems. The Guardians have suddenly become relevant. Playing good baseball. For sure. There's a lot of teams that are relevant still now. I mean, the Rays are trying to play themselves out of relevancy. The Twins somehow are still relevant. 6.5 games back. They're not relevant, though. It's not real. The Royals, I like their trade deadline. I thought it was kind of brave-like what they did when they signed Lugo to a long-term extension and kept him. So it was like almost gaining a player. Bringing in Grinchuk and bringing in Yastrzemski, I thought were like a little similar to what the Braves did with Duvall and Soler a few years back. But so far, it's not working out. Similar, I said, please, right? Don't. Let's not look at things verbatim. And by the way, these trades, we can't tell who wins or loses in the first week. Some of them you'll never know because it'll take forever to know because we have to wait for prospects to develop or not develop. I'm still glad the Yankees didn't go all in because it would have taken them George Lombard to get Mason Miller. At a minimum, Spencer Jones and that's only the first guy. They would have had to trade more than that. Not for a reliever. I know John, if John's with us, John Gonzalez compares him to a young Goose Gossage. Goose was great. I still wouldn't trade Lombard for him. This team was closer. Again, they're prospects for a reason. I'm not against trading prospects. I am kind of for relievers. You kind of see with the Yankees, and again, they're not Mason Miller, the 3 guys that they picked up. But you see what happens. You don't know who can pitch in New York, by the way, and who can't. Are the Rangers for real, by the way? What are they? They're 4.5 games out of first, still 4 games over 500, but they have streaks where they'll go 9-1 in 10 games, and they're 4-6 in their last 10. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Bruce Bochy, he's got to be walking away after watching this stuff this year. I got to believe. Mets trying to play themselves out of playoff contention. The Marlins, they're not going to make the playoffs. They've made a nice run. They're a nice story. Maybe they'll finish around 500. Braves are done. Reds still could make a run. They're relevant. Not playing great at the moment. Cardinals, watch out, Carlos. I'm telling you, there's a guy coming for your job. And the Giants, I had the Tigers. Well, they weren't sleepers, really. My sleeper in the National League, the Giants, they have not made – they've been playing worse than the Dodgers. All this time the Dodgers have played badly. Rockies are not back on track, actually. They're getting closer because they've lost 4 in a row. But they're still on a pace for 120 losses as we speak. So – again, this is a team that I thought was going to lose 130 games for a while. I was all excited. Every year I've done this show, we've had somebody challenging that record. It was the A's for a while, the longest while. The Rockies, and then it was the White Sox, obviously broke the record last year. The Rockies looked like they were going to just shatter it. Then they had to start winning games. Problem is, to get off of that track, you don't have to be that good. Win 4 out of 6, or 4 out of 10, rather, and you're on your way to not breaking a record. It's a great room. It absolutely is. That's what you call where we live. The entire downstairs is the great room because there's no walls. It's all open. So, yes, that's the great room. And if I'm in it, it's even a greater room. It's the spectacular room when I'm in it. Bird might be one of those can't in New York players. Yeah, so far. I mean, if we were to go just off of the immediate results last Friday night, you would have thought every one of them couldn't play. I think everybody. I mean, here's the problem with this team. They've got 2 utility guys or 3. They don't need that many. They have 1 catcher. Don't tell me about Rice. He's not a good catcher. He should be the first baseman against righties right now, by the way. Him and Goldschmidt should be platooning as of today. They have 1 catcher. They have 4 DHs. Jesus Christ. I mean, every week I got to go on the same tirade. Saw them against the Tigers. They dominated those 3 or 4 games. Which ones are we talking? Who are we talking about? The Brewers? Who did the Tigers play that recently? Sorry, Brian. Sometimes I lose track of who we're referencing. I'm going to guess the Brewers. I'm looking at the full schedule here. Hold on. Come on, where are you? Well, it wasn't Minnesota. Oh, here we go. Jeez, I couldn't even get to where I was. Hell, Arizona swept you guys. I actually don't know who Brian's referring to now. Diamondbacks with a big haul of there's a team we aren't going to know for years probably whether they won their trade deadline, right? American League champs are coming from the wild card teams. That's possible. Listen, the whole problem, and I don't like it, by the way. We play 162 games, and then whoever's hottest the last, 2 weeks in the playoffs, 3 weeks, they're your World Series champions as a rule. We saw it with the Rangers a few years ago and the Diamondbacks who lost to them in the World Series. I don't like all these wild cards. I hate it. We're never going backwards, but this isn't what baseball is supposed to be. You're supposed to be rewarded for playing really good baseball to great baseball over 162 games. Now you can play mediocre baseball for 162 games, sneak into the playoffs, get hot for 3 weeks, and win a World Series. Please, can I go in a time capsule? Can somebody, I want all the money I have right now and the knowledge that I have, and send me back to 1970 something, please. I'm begging you. JB, you'll be signed. JB will give you a sign. Ted Williams baseball and a bloody sock from Kurt Schilling's Game 6 and become Red Sox fan. JB, please. If you're gonna jump ship on your team, you deserve to be a Red Sox fan. I have to agree with Scott here, but what? Got tired of people coming up your Facebook. I was just playing around and I came across this. When you posted birthdays, Drew, we'll see how it works out. It was a great strategy on your part and some others to cover up my face, but it's small. The font is much smaller for me and it's not as easy for me to read as I'm going quickly, but I don't know. I like the bubble a little better than the comments just across the screen. I think it looks kind of cool this way. I have found some other things I'll be playing around with as we go along, but I don't want to play with anything because I can't even get the show started half the time. Because of Facebook or StreamYard, and once in a while, even my own nonsensical stuff. Here's Jen. No, I'm live. Hello, Jen. I will always, I'll make sure I let you guys know when it's a tape recorded or a pre-recorded show. Jack had some stuff he had to do before his vacation today, so we pre-recorded the Jack and Keith weekend playbook, but we're live now, John. So, by the way, I don't want to spend the next half hour talking about Mason Miller, but as we talked about, John, I have seen about 7 stories this week. The Athletic, I found one on ESPN. Not sure if the Post had one or not. I think the Post did too. The Yankees and Mets both were deeply entrenched in conversations about Mason Miller until the Mets, I don't know their prospects quite as well. I do know all their top prospects came up in the conversation and they weren't willing to trade them. And the talks broke off with the A's after the Yankees said, Lombard is out, Spencer's out. And the phone went dead. Again, I'm not saying I wouldn't want him on my team. I don't know if I want him on this team, though. I mean, again, in the right world, I would trade Lombard for Mason Miller if it was going to put this team over the top. But there's too many other problems here. I can't continue to watch this team play this type of baseball over and over again. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose like you don't even know how to play the game. Did I miss a comment? I think I skipped over one from Scott. Keith, you don't remember the 2011 Brewers went to the there you go. I forgot that. Thank you. Here's the problem. There's so many teams. When there was 2 divisions, okay, some people will take you back to when there was, I guess I go back that far to when there was 1 division in each league, right? There was just the American League and National League, no divisions. Back when there was 2 divisions, I could tell you who played in the NLCS for, every year over however many years. Now I don't know. Who the hell knows? Because, there's 12 teams that get in the playoffs in both leagues or whatever the hell it is. I know I'm exaggerating, but can't remember. Remember when everyone was up in arms about the Devers trade? 5 homers in 43 games with the Giants, doesn't exude confidence that he's going to do anything the rest of the season. Rafael Devers is a classic addition by subtraction move. I had this argument with, I don't know who I was arguing with. It might have been Jack. I seem to argue with everybody lately. Maybe I got to undergo a personality transplant or something. I don't know. I have my good friend John Gonzalez I'm arguing with, it seems like every other week. Debating with, we shouldn't say arguing. Debating. But we're talking about Devers that are like, he did everything he could do. He realized that he wasn't a better third baseman. No, he didn't. He didn't realize he wasn't a better third baseman than Bregman. He went kicking and screaming to be the DH. Don't tell me he did it for the good of the team when he bitched about it for weeks. And then when they needed a first baseman, he said, don't look at me. You want me to be a DH. So I'm going to sit over here with my bat, and that's what I'm going to do. You don't need that guy. And that stuff carries into the clubhouse. I said, that was Jack. I know it was Jack because he thinks that's not a clubhouse issue. He said, oh, by all accounts, the Red Sox players, most of them like Devers. I don't care if they love Devers. I don't care if all 25 other guys love Devers, or all 25 guys love Devers, including himself, I guess. You can't have that type of attitude where you won't put the team in front of yourself and not be a problem in the clubhouse. That's a clubhouse issue. When you give the manager that, goodbye. John Gonzalez, trade Volpe. Well, you can't trade him now, but here's the thing, too, John. I mean, Jack and I talked about it this morning. If you didn't listen long enough, because we were on tape delay, the Red Sox just signed Roman Anthony to an extension, 8 years, $130 million. That's a great team-friendly trade, assuming Roman Anthony becomes what they think he should be. Jack has long advocated that a lot of teams should do this. More teams should do this. Tatis, the Padres did it with Tatis. And there's a bunch of other examples out there, and he wanted them to do it with Volpe. Now, I'm not saying Volpe is as bad as what we've seen this year, or even as good as he is when he's on his game. But I think you would have had a lot more problems, and Volpe and the Yankees all would have been getting a lot more grief if they'd signed him to a long-term contract. Look at these are bargain basement prices for great players, but you got to become a great player. If I'm a young player, I do it, and I'm not giving you a bunch of outs, by the way. You're not getting a bunch of places where you can say, okay, I'm going to opt out. I'll give you generational wealth. I'll give you $130 million. But you're not getting any opt-outs. You can't have both ways. Well, Volpe, John, I said it earlier. All I want from Volpe is for him to make the plays at shortstop. He doesn't have to make, highlight reel plays. Just make the plays that have to be made. I don't care if he hits 200. I don't care if he never hits another home run. Just make the plays in the field. So Volpe needs to make the plays in the field. Ryan McMahon has been, I think, a great boost to this team, even though they haven't won a lot of games since he got here. It's not his fault. He's had some good clutch hits. He's not going to hit for much average. He'll have a little bit of pop. He plays really good defense, and he's a good guy to have in that dugout and in that clubhouse. He's had a great, by all accounts, from what I can see from some articles I read yesterday and today, he's had great in the Yankees Insiders. He's had a great effect on Volpe in the field. Volpe's played better last week. I need that to be consistent. I need Jazz to, stop thinking about himself, getting thrown out of games, doing stupid crap like he getting picked off first base on a pop-up, and then making up some stupid story that, I could see him looking to double us up. Come on, you're not a mind reader. I need Ben Rice to be the first baseman against right-handed pitchers. Sorry. Goldschmidt can be the lefty part of that platoon, or the righty part of that platoon, against left-handers. And he can come in and play some defense in the late innings. I need Bellinger and Grisham to play pretty much every day in the outfield. And I got to get Dominguez out of the game for defense every single day I have a lead. It might be the fifth inning. He stinks out there. Another DA. So we got Judge, who can't play the field most likely. We'll find out as we go through these next few weeks. We got Stanton, who can't play the field. And if you tell me he can play the outfield, please. Jack, I've had this argument with Jack. He can't play the outfield. I got Dominguez, who should be a DH. And I got not Goldschmidt. Crap, I can't think who else I was talking about. And I got one catcher. Well, don't, Chad, please. Chad, I got to tell you, I really appreciated your voice messages on the Facebook last week, because I'm always interested to hear what guys sound like. I've invited you to, and I'm going to do it Monday, I think, on the Mac and Jack, sorry. God bless you, Mac. Thumbs up, DDH. I keep saying Mac and Jack show. It's a Jack and Keith weekend playbook. I'm going to invite guys in to do a little rant or a little debate for a few minutes if they want. Next Monday and Friday, probably, as I'll be in the studio solo those days. But don't confuse these two issues. And I don't want to get out and name it because it's a baseball show. I never said I didn't think Mason Williams. Who's Mason Williams? Mason Miller wasn't a great player. He is. I asked you 100 times last week, would you trade Lombard for him? And you said you could get him for less than that. Well, when the Yankees said Lombard and Spencer are off the table, the A's stopped talking to him. San Diego did well. And again, I started to say this before when Drew was talking about the bullpens. There's going to be, and I think there's already been maybe 4 bullpen games. I think I saw there was 4 bullpen games in the playoffs last year. I don't remember them being that many. I knew there was 1. You're going to see more of it. Teams are not going to throw out a wishy-washy 4 starter when they can go out with a bullpen game. You may see it out of San Diego. You might see it out of the Yankees if they have the opportunity. Relievers are where it's at today. I'm not saying it's right. I hate it. The price for relievers is so high because everybody wants to do this. Everybody wants to shorten the game instead of letting pitchers go out there and do what they freaking get paid for. Look at how that shows up, Drew. Yandy Diaz. Birthdays. Yandy Diaz, decent hitter. Anthony Rizzo, classy guy. It's unfortunate the way his career ended, but classy guy. Happy birthday to him. Ross Ollendorf, I believe, a pitcher. Craig Breslow's. That one's escaping me. Whiteside, I know the name. I want to say he was a pitcher, but I'm not positive. Ron Karkovic. He was a decent catcher not decent, journeyman catcher, I guess. I seem to remember with the White Sox, maybe the Braves. Al Woods, outfielder. Mike Ivey, a great prospect for the Giants, traded to the Padres. Actually, came up the other way. I take that back. A great prospect with the Padres, traded to the Giants for Willie McCovey. Might have ended up back with the Padres. I'm not sure. Came up as a catcher. They couldn't find a position for him. And he had some head issues or something. Jose Cruz, great outfielder. If we're talking about the same Jose Cruz with the Cardinals, later the Astros, he really came into his own with the Astros teams. Those teams in the 80s that were really good but couldn't get over the hump. The immortal Frank Howard, a giant of a man, actually won a batting title with the Dodgers early in his career and had a bunch of big home runs. I mean, this guy was a giant of a man. Played with some really bad Washington teams, too. Johnny Temple, don't know. Got me today with a bunch. Raffensperger, Cecil Travis, I know. Kospek, no. Bo Bejery, no. Todd Bresnell, no. Don't know the rest of these guys at all. But happy birthday to them all. JB should maintain his fan futility by becoming a Mets fan. Just stay an Oriole fan. I knew you were a Met fan, Drew, as you're trying to recruit new people. You like to deny that, but I know. I see the signs. I see you coming and going from the meetings. Stay, JB, stay an Oriole fan. You don't jump off or on bandwagons. It's not cool. I was a Patriot fan for 40 years, but not 40 years, 30 years before they won a thing. When I became a Yankee fan, they were awful. So I didn't jump on any bandwagons, I can tell you that. Seattle and Detroit, AL Championship Series. I'll go for that. I think these two, the Blue Jays always seem to stumble, right, when we get to the playoffs. And Schneider keeps his job somehow. I like the Tigers. The Tigers get to the playoffs. I think they've got a pitching staff that you don't want to face. And I think the Seattle's going to be the same way in the postseason if they get there. I think their pitchers are getting healthy, and I think they're playing much better baseball. And I think these might be the best 2 teams in the American League right now. Tigers need to get things straightened out, but I think they will. I'm not sure what that means, Drew, but it's funny. It's better with a guy who said I look like a giant penis, I guess. Mets have 3 huge starting pitcher prospects in the MLB top 100. Might be the second coming of thank you for the emoji at the end of that, Drew, because without the emoji, I would have thought, oh my God. Isringhausen had a nice career after he left the Mets in the bullpen of the Cardinals and the A's, right? I think. But the other two guys were terrible. This is why you never know, especially with pitchers. You just never know what you're getting with prospects. That's why we don't know for years who's winning these trades. The Soto trade from the Nationals to the Padres. Do we even know? I'm going to say the Padres didn't win that, even though the Nationals, because they had him for 1 year, they didn't win anything. So what was the point? They gave up 5 or 6 prospects, 2 of them that they've hit on. C.J. Abrams is a serviceable player, and Woods is coming to his own this year. I think if you hit on 2 out of 5, you did pretty good. I am thinking about retirement. Right there. Whoa, hold on. Wow, look at that. Ouch. It's getting hot, that thing. It's been running so long. No, listen, the personality transplant is something that's been suggested to me for many, many years. Mason Williams, a guitarist who had one instrumental hit with classical gas. Believe me, that's not the guy I was thinking about, Drew. There's no way you knew that. I know you Googled that. There's no way anybody on this show knows that. I'm going to have to make the baseball list longer. See, I still see your mouth. You're going to hear it moving anyway. The important thing is you want to shut me up. You don't want to not see it moving. The visual part of it's not a problem. You can always become a Rockies fan. There you go, JB. Be a Rockies fan. Keith Engle, Mike Hargrove, human rain delay. This guy, he was amazing. If you guys, I know most of you guys should remember him. We're all old here. Mike Hargrove was amazing. In his batters. I mean, how would Mike Hargrove even survive now with a pitch clock? I always said that Mark Mancini had a face made for radio. Everybody's taking it tough today. Another nice try, Drew. While people always look at players involved in a trade to determine the trade's value, they frequently overlook sometimes the trades are made to revamp the clubhouse tone and atmosphere as well. 100%. That is 100% dead on target, which is why some trades, like the Boston trade, even though I think the Red Sox traded the best player they got in that trade at the trade deadline for Dustin May, if I'm not mistaken. I might be misremembering that. But sometimes there's addition by subtraction. Getting a bad guy off your team, and I don't care whether the players love Devers or not. If you're not going to do what's good for the team, I guarantee if the Yankees asked Aaron Judge to learn first base tomorrow, we'd be doing it. We'll be having a retirement. We'll be having a party for your retirement. Okay, who's bringing the rice cakes to the party? Rice pudding is what we need. But Jello. Guys, I gotta tell you, I'm shocked I'm retiring. I really am. I thought I would work forever because I love my job, but life has a way of saying, you know what, you need to do something different. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enjoy it. I don't feel 65 years old. I think I'm on my grandfather when he was 65. My dad was a very young 65, and my dad's not doing great right now. And they used to watch the show a lot, and I know they probably aren't, but they are, we think about you all the time. But I think about my grandfather, who was not in bad shape. He lived till he was 85. and was pretty vital, but always looked old. He looked older than I think, and maybe it's just I'm not self-aware enough. I feel like my grandfather looked older than I look when he was 40. And my grandmother looked like she was, 60 when she was 30. They're great people, though. I got to tell you, they were the best freaking people ever. Drew, we can't cover his face anymore. He raised his chair or is sitting on a stack of phone books. No, I changed the comment bubble. You guys wait. Actually, I did know the classical. I don't know whether to be happy for you or sad, actually. Actually, I did know the classical gas reference without looking it up. I actually liked that song when it came out the first 200 times. Drew, I don't know whether to say great job or I'm really sorry. It's unfortunate. Oh, God. I had some stuff I was going to touch on today. Who are some of the guys coming back? So we just talked about the injuries, and we're gonna get off of here at 4:00 today. So I'm gonna go through this quick, and then we're gonna go through the weekend matchups and tonight's starters, and then we're gonna get off this, get out of this popsicle stand. Some of the guys coming back that are going to have impact. So we've already got the trades, but we got guys who have been out that are just like acquiring a guy who's been brand new. If they've been out and now they're going to come back and contribute. How about Yordan Alvarez for the Astros? If he comes back, that's going to be a huge shot in the arm. Not to use, maybe that's not a great one to talk about. James Talion for the Cubs. And even Assad for the Cubs. I like both those. Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber could be the underrated trade of this trade deadline season. Maybe it won't happen this year, but he's been rehabbing. He's going to pitch and probably start at some point for the Blue Jays. And come playoff time, this could be somebody who really has an impact for the Jays. Alex Baum and Nola. I know Nola wasn't pitching great for the Phillies, but I don't know what health had to do with that. Alex Baum hasn't been the player that he was the first half of or the last couple of years. But that will improve both of the defense, I think, and the pitching staff for the Phillies. Those are great names to look at. Evan Carter and Jake Berger listed here by ESPN. I am not buying it. These guys aren't any good or haven't been so far. Now, Langford, is it Langford? Am I saying it right, Drew? The other guy who's the outfielder, the other young outfielder, he's on my team. I don't freaking remember his name. I think it's Langford. Why can't I remember? Jeez, good grief. I do this every time, I swear. Well, have I got him on my bench? I don't know where he is. He's on one of my fantasy teams. Anyway, he's playing pretty good baseball the last month or so. Robert Gassy, the young lefty for the Brewers, could help. Hunter Green with the Reds. Reds starting to play a little bit better baseball, still pretty inconsistent. Hunter Green coming back would be a huge boost to this team. Michael King, Padres. We already talked about the Padres being the big winners at this trade deadline. Michael King coming back would be huge. He should be the ace of that staff. Michael Kopech, Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, all guys who have not really set the world on fire for the Dodgers. But if they were to come back healthy and be the players they thought they were when they brought them in, the Dodgers will be great. McGill for the Mets. Bryce Miller, I've talked about that the Seattle pitching staff. Bryce Miller comes back. I'm telling you, they're right back to where they were with the pitchers. And that's just some guys that I was looking at in this article that I thought would make some difference coming back and not be guys that were involved in trades. Thank you for Wyatt Langford. I knew it was Langford. Where are we here? I'm going to do I might need magnifying glass to read these downsized bubbles. Are you on your phone? Get on a little iPad or something. There you go, Michael King. Michael King is a really good pitcher. I was so unhappy to see him involved in that Soto trade. And I guess you can say the Soto trade worked out for the Yankees. They went to the World Series. But the fact that I had to give up Michael King is going to sting for a lot of years, I think. Who's Justin Bieber? Shane Bieber. I didn't say, please tell me I didn't say Justin Bieber. White Langford. All right, guys, let's look at the let's look at the matchups this weekend. Oh, I pulled up the NBA schedule. Maybe we'll look at that. Oh my God. Anybody playing right now? No day games today. So we got Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Chase Burns and Mitch Keller. Paul Skeens gave up the most hits he's ever given up, 7, by the way, the other day. I think he still pitched a shutout, didn't he? Astros at the Yankees. This is a big series for the Yankees. It's Hunter Brown against Cam Schlietler. More freaking letters in your name, please. He hasn't done badly. Not great. But again, Yankees get to a game 4 in the playoffs. Are you going to throw out Will Warren or Cam, or are you going to go with a bullpen game? I know which direction they're going to go. The Angels will be at, I'm sorry, the A's will be at Baltimore. There's a broken windshield special right there. JT Ginn against Sagano. The Angels against the Detroit Tigers. Kyle Hendricks against Skubal. The Marlins, somewhat surprising Marlins. I like Edwin Cabrera a lot against Bryce Elder. The Indians, team formerly known as the Indians, at the White Sox. BB against Savali. The Phillies will be at the Rangers, the suddenly slumping Rangers. A nice move of getting Merrill Kelly. I think he's a guy who can be this type of stopper. We'll find out tonight. At home, he's got Christopher Sanchez facing him. The Royals and the Twins, Seth Lugo signed to a long-term contract last week against Joe Ryan, everybody's most surprise player not traded. The Mets and Milwaukee in a huge, huge series, I think, for the Mets. Senga starts tonight against Woodruff. By the way, there's a guy back from injury that we haven't talked about that much. A huge boost for the Brewers without having to make a trade. Cubs at the Cardinals, as I said. By the way, Matthew Boyd and McGreevy, the starters there. And also, Yadier Molina is now back with the Cardinals as a coach. Marmol, watch over your shoulder. The Red Sox will be at the Padres. Buehler against Pivetta. Interesting series there. Another broken windshield special, I guess you could say. The Rockies at the Diamondbacks. Gomber against Gallen. Very surprised Gallen didn't get traded. What are they thinking about? Get anything for him. If you want him to be on your team, as Drew talked about several times, and I've talked about till I'm blue in the face the last bunch of years, you're not going anywhere. Why are you keeping guys with expiring contracts? Tampa at Seattle. Rasmussen against Castillo. Toronto will be at the Dodgers. There's a nice series this weekend. Open up with Scherzer and Kershaw. And the defibrillator will be available for both. Washington will be at the Giants. Jake Irvin against Way 10, whatever. What else we got? Anything else? You guys are done with the comments, or we're going to get out of here right on time. Guys, fun time always. I'll be back Sunday with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. Check us out then. And, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wasn't Manley supposed to take over for Schneider by now? Well, yeah, except they demoted him even from bench coach. Watch out for Donnie Mattingly in the Yankee dugout next year, Drew. It's my new. Yeah, I've said to you, if the Blue Jays were smart, Don Mattingly would have been managing that team. Yes. Watch, and I'm glad he isn't, because now he'll be available when the Yankees smarten up and Aaron Boone gets fired, which is maybe a good reason for me to root for him not to make the playoffs. I don't know. We'll catch you Sunday with a Sunday stream of consciousness, guys. See you right back here then. We'll see you on Monday morning. I'll be solo. Jack will be off with the Jack and Keith weekend playbook. And, of course, we're back on Sundays with the college football huddle. We had a great show the other night, and we look forward to counting down the days. It's only a couple of weeks till college football. Guys, I'll see you later. Wish me luck on the roads tomorrow, driving that U-Haul. It's a small one. Not that much. Anyway, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.